The next set of questions in the access checklist are asking about credibility of the website. And credibility means that the website is reliable or trustworthy. And so there are three questions to ask to determine that. The first question is the domain of the website a .gov, a .org, or a .edu? This is important to find out because anybody can create a .com website, but there are special circumstances that allow somebody to operate a .gov, a .org, or a .edu. Because of that, these sites are more likely than a .com or a .net to have the most current and accurate information. A .gov is a website that's created and run by the government. A .org is an organization that's created and run by an organizational website, usually a nonprofit. And a .edu is a website that's created and run by an educational institution like a college or a university. All three of these have a reputation to uphold. They don't want to be known for giving out incorrect information, so they check very carefully before they publish things to the web. This is an easy item to check for. To see if the web address is a .gov, .org, or .edu, you just need to look at the address of the website. So this is a .org, which means it's run by an organization. This is actually a nonprofit organization, which means that their first intention isn't to just make money. So on my checklist, I want to make a note that this website is a .org because it's a nonprofit organization. So that earns a check mark. The next question on the credibility checklist is, can you find the author or authors of the website, and are they credible sources of information? As we mentioned before, if there isn't an author listed, then you can't tell if they're an expert, and we aren't sure if we should be able to trust them. So we want to see if there's an author listed, and if so, if they are a credible source of information. Now we know that we should look at the top of the article for the author underneath the title, or at the bottom of the article, right underneath the text. And as we talked about before, this article doesn't have an author listed. So we can't check to see what their background is. But we do have Mary Gavin, MD, listed as a reviewer. And we did check her background, and we know that she's a pediatrician that specializes in children's weight management and obesity. So although there isn't an author listed, we do know that the person who reviewed this information to check to see if it was correct is an expert. Now, this website has a link that we can search, that we can click on to search for her information, but you can also just do a Google search on the author if it isn't linked. So if I go back to my checklist, I want to make a note for myself that nope, there is not an author listed, but they did do the next best thing, which was to have it reviewed by an expert. But I still don't check this one off because technically there was not an author listed. The third question for credibility is, are there few or no advertisements on the page? If the website or the author or the organization is trying to sell you something, that might mean that they have other objectives at hand rather than giving you correct information. So we may not be able to trust the information that we're getting if there's a lot of advertisements. Now we want to look for advertisements on the top of the article or on the sides of the article. This website does not have any advertisements. The only things that we can see besides the article are different links to other parts of this website, but they aren't trying to sell us anything. Another place that you might want to look on a website, or here's an example of what you might want to look for. Here's a banner ad across the top. These are pretty common along the sides. And just because you see an advertisement on a website doesn't mean it's automatically not worth your time. Because remember, websites can cost money And even a really reputable source of information still needs to pay for that website. But it does concern us if we see a lot of advertisements because it might mean that their goal is just to make money, not to give us correct information. So on my checklist here, I want to make sure I note that there are no advertisements. And we definitely give this one a check mark because there aren't any advertisements on the page. Those are the 3 questions for credibility. The next section is current.